So number 4 is also your number 3, so I figure we'll talk about it now.
Giving it away.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, his
Everybody
number 3
was
is
waiting
this
to find
episode.
out.
Rumpelstiltskin takes Hook's hand, crushes Mila's heart. This was a really cool episode for me, a really cool moment. When Hook and Rumple meet after Rumple's the Dark One, and Hook calls him the crocodile, it's like this teaser, it's like this, oh, so he's about to take his hand,
Yeah.
like, you know, you kind of like, I love that when they set up something and then, you know, it pays off later, but you're like waiting for it.
I also love how these characters play multiple roles from different stories.
Exactly, like he's in and out, and especially in that, you really see that Hook and Rumple's fates are like really intertwined. That they go back to the Enchanted Forest days. You will get the same thing later with Peter Pan and Rumple.
Yeah.
But
So many connections between those two
yeah.
characters.
These are the two. Hook and Rumple are the two best actors I think on the show. You know, other than Regina. Robert Carlyle is Rumple. Colin O'Donoghue is Hook. And I mean, Hook just came into season 2 and just blasted energy into the show. Like it really picked up from there. Somehow it just
It's got a presence.
Yeah, he's got a presence. He's got a very big on-screen presence.
I'm sure the ladies liked him too. So.
Yeah. Yes, I know my girlfriend does. But yeah, what else do you think about that moment?
It was a great moment just because it really does set Hook's character into motion and kind of sets his motivations from what we've seen from the show. In the present, you're wondering why does he want to kill Rumple so bad? All this, and that's really that setup for that. And then also, obviously, we get Mila and Rumple back together, and he even promises them that he will let them go, and then he just goes completely back on that promise, just asking her how she could have left Balefire, and just a grueling moment. Rips her heart out and just crushes it right in front of Hook. Big character moments for the two favorite characters of mine. So yeah.
And for Mila too, I mean, because you really got that she was in love with Hook.
Yeah.
You really got that. And so you blamed her, but you couldn't really because you saw what Rumple was like before he became the Dark One, and I don't know that he was a very, lovable character, so you kind of got that. It was also interesting that I remember the commercials for season 2, and they were like, Hook and Mulan have come to Storybrooke. And Hook
Mulan.
just like has run with it, and Mulan just fell completely flat.
Mulan.
And it was just like, what is she doing? I mean, like we were talking about, she needs the Mulan story because she was after that. She was just a chick that was a warrior,
boring,
and
supporting character.
Yeah, she was a completely boring supporting character.
Following her as a lead is one thing. Following her as a supporting character, where she's just like a third wheel lover, and then now best friends with the. It's just I don't know what the heck's going on with that storyline.
And they could have done more with the whole lesbian thing.
They could have gone with that. But and the worst part is that those characters are still in the damn show.
Yeah. Mulan hasn't showed up in a while.
It's been a while, but it's a pain in the ass.
So my number 3 now that we're on is Regina takes her father's heart. Happens really early, season 1, episode 2.
Kind of a moment I missed.
Yeah, when she really has to take charge of her villainness, and what she needs for the dark curse is the heart of the thing she loves most, and she's struggling with it. She knows what she has to do, and then she ends up telling her father that she needs his heart, and then he's trying to convince her that she doesn't, and then she just takes it anyway. Yeah. I didn't even know that was her father until that moment. I don't. Like, I tried to watch some of the scenes, and they never mentioned it. So I don't know if it was a big reveal. It was for me at the time because I didn't catch it at least.
Her dad's such a pushover, though.
He is.
Or basically used him entirely.
He was a slave. He was like a servant to her in that role, and so. But it's a payoff early on. It's immediately the initial mystery of the show is what the dark curse is and why they're all there in Storybrooke. I mean, it's Regina that did it, but you don't know quite what. We're getting there. You see this like horrible price that she had to pay. All right, so I'm gonna do my number 2 moment now, which is when Mr. Gold, aka Rumpelstiltskin, beats on Belle's dad in the Storybook. This was an episode, it was during the Beauty and the Beast episode, and they had been hinting at the fact that Mr. Gold remembered everything, that he hadn't forgotten the Enchanted Forest. Regina was very suspicious of him, kept asking him like little leading questions that he would kind of give these little leading answers that you weren't quite sure.
You could tell he knew something.
Yeah, you could tell he knew something.
He knew
or he knew
some
key piece of information or something. But then when he starts beating on Belle's dad and he's telling you were supposed to protect her, she was your daughter, and we hadn't seen Belle at all in Storybook yet. We had a really good idea that he was talking about the Enchanted Forest, and you're like, oh, he must remember. And then a little bit later, you get Regina talking to him while he's in jail, and he admits full on that his name is Rumpelstiltskin, which was a pretty key moment and drove the plot line forward. Also, this episode, early on in the first season, they were adding so many characters. Like each episode, it was getting hard to tell. And like Cinderella was on for an episode and then gone, and she never showed up again. Was not important to the storyline at all, and it kind of felt like they robbed us of 48 minutes. But this episode, even though Belle wouldn't be seen in Storybook for a while, I think after this episode, it still connected the two timelines a lot better than some of the episodes previous to it, I think. So that was pretty important. And you got Belle in the castle with Rumple. We spent like 48 minutes, humanizing Rumple. It was the first time we saw him really as not just a downright scumbag kind of thing. Even though he was a interesting character and very dynamic character, he was still pretty much a villain up until that point. And then you saw Belle kind of humanizing him, and so then you get Mr. Gold just beating the crap out of Belle's dad with his cane. It was pretty awesome, and he's like usually limping around. All of a sudden, he just puts him in position, and you're like, and it's like hardcore whooping on him, but it's for a good reason. Like you believe it's for a good reason. You don't know what the reason is until later, really, but. So that was a key moment, and it was both of our favorite characters. So
yeah, cool. Definitely. Yeah. So I'm not going to talk about my number 2. We're going to get to that. I'm going to talk about my number 1 first, because our number 2 and number 1 are the same. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about my number 1 first, which I have a nice long paragraph written about, because I think it's like the key moment, to at least up until we meet Peter Pan. So it's when Rumple abandons Bellfire. Now, I'm going to go back and I'm going to give a little background to it just to kind of lead you in on it. The Blue Fairy gives Bay a magic bean, and this is because Bay, just wants to figure out, a way to basically save him and his father's relationship and kind of get him away from magic. So the bean will take them to a land without magic, which is our world, and basically Bay tells Rumple this, and Rumple's kind of skeptical, kind of doesn't want to give up his power, which is the main thing. He's too afraid to give up his power. And we see him be a coward again and not go along with his son. He sticks his dagger in the dirt, holds himself up while Bay's screaming at him, calling him a coward, and then Bay falls in the portal, which is a recurring theme on this show. And he's gone to Rumple. Rumple thinks forever. This is the whole reason why we have the curse. This is the whole reason why we have Emma as the savior to break the curse. Because Rumple's trying to get to that land without magic. You can't take portals that go from magical land to magical land, so the Hatter can't do that. You can't magically poof himself places because there's no magic. So he needs a magic bean, or in this case, which there are none left, according to Blue Fairy, so he needs a curse. And that's the whole reason he trains Regina and Selena, and what we find out later. Yeah. So it's the whole reason for the entire kind of plot of the show up to this point, up to the before Pan at least, which we're going to get to. And that's the reason I think it's my favorite moment, my most important.
Yeah, because up until this point, it was all Regina's doing was the curse.
We all thought
she was behind it all, and she was, but it turns out Rumple was behind her.
Rumple's the puppet master.
Yeah. So yeah, that was cool. All right, so my number 1 moment, your number 2 moment, which means it was a pretty good moment because we both had it up there. Is the reveal of Peter Pan as Rumple's father when Rumple abandons.
When Rumple's dad.
Pan, yeah.
Pan,
what was his name?
I can't even remember. If he even had a name.
He's Peter Pan.
He's Peter Pan, which is actually the name of Rumple's doll.
Yeah,
which is
that was a
the
cool
reason he
cool
uses the name,
reveal.
which is that's another moment. It's
Yeah.
nice. Why do you think I call myself Peter Pan? Yeah, it's a good moment. But this was an extremely important moment.
Yeah, and you know the actor they brought on to play Rumple's father like even looked like him and kind of acted like him a lot, like in those early episodes when he was kind of joking around and whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're in Neverland, and the shadow comes and takes him, and he's like, "I gotta let you go," like just cold, heartless, like.
I'm sorry, son.
This is selfishness.
This is my chance for everything I dream.
Yeah.
Bye.
And that does not include you. So.
Nah, get out of here, kid.
Peace. It really sets up Pan as like a really major villain. I mean, he was kind of evil to begin with, but you're like, he's Peter Pan. He's a little kid, you know. But now he's like, no, he's
not a little kid.
Evil. Yeah,
he's a
not
full-grown man in a boy's body.
Yeah, exactly. Which not a lot of shows can pull that off.
It's the weirdest thing. It's basically a street hustler. That's what it is. He was like a street hustler this whole time, and he ends up fleeing away, and then he ends up getting back to Neverland, which I guess he'd been in as a kid. Like, we're not quite sure on that background of the story.
During his dreams, I think.
We're also not quite sure what the heck the Shadow is.
Yeah, the Shadow is
the Shadow's kind of like the keeper of
and
Neverland.
Yeah,
it's the only thing that can't leave Neverland, I guess.
And he goes and picks up little kids and brings them because he just likes to, and then he brings them home. Like,
yeah, I don't know. It's a weird little story. I mean, we know the reason the Shadow's going when Pan's actually in control is to find
Henry. Yeah.
Who he has a picture of when Bay lands on the when Bay gets taken away to save the darlings. I mean, that's a whole. I also like that moment. That was a good moment. That was a good moment with the darlings. I like that whole kind of thing, and then they come back in the mid-season of season 3. So.
I was waiting for Johnny Depp from Finding Neverland to show up. But, also, you really get this lineage of cowardness during the line of Pan to Rumple to Bay, and then it adds new heights to Balefire, I think, because you see that he really broke the line of cowardice, and it took a lot of guts for him to do that, and so you really get a lot from that character.
Balefire really doesn't have a single moment where you could label him as a coward. I mean, he didn't tell Emma who he really was, which I mean is fine because she probably thought it was insane.
Yeah, you can't walk up to.
And then two, I mean Pinocchio. I fucking hate Pinocchio, by the way. I made a whole other video on about that.
Really?
But yeah, I have a whole thing on the back of this paper about why I don't like Pinocchio. But I don't like him because he's just he just lies. All lies. But Pinocchio's the reason that Balefire didn't go out and try to find him, which is the only really smudge on his record, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he was doing it for the greater good, right? Or at least that's what Pinocchio told him.
That's what he was told. That's what Pinocchio said. Which turns out, maybe. I don't know. Might have been easier if, Balefire showed up to Emma, and then she's like, oh, this guy. And then he's like, yeah, everything Henry's saying is true. Because Balefire didn't know that everything Henry was saying was true.
And you could have skipped ahead the entire first season.
Fucking Pinocchio. I don't know Pinocchio.
He rides a motorcycle. He must be
cool. He rides a motorcycle.
I mean, how you can't ride a motorcycle and not be cool in a TV show. When has that happened? When has that happened? I challenge you to tell me when that has happened. Alright. So did you want to talk about some moments that were not good or characters that we don't like? Because
I just said it right now, Pinocchio. And another reason I hate Pinocchio is the episode where we get my number one moment with Balefire. We also get this part where fucking Pinocchio is telling Rumple that he is Balefire and lying, of course, which he does. It's so much lying, it's ridiculous. So
I'm gonna gripe about Let It Go Girl, who showed up at the end of season 3 as the big reveal. No, she's Let It Go Girl. That's her name.
Elsa?
All right, that is her only name. And if they start off season 4 by playing that frickin' song, I may not watch that show anymore. But okay, so first she pops out of this golden chalice thing that they brought back, that Emma and Hook brought back from the Enchanted Forest storyline. And it's this blue mist, and it's forming, and I'm like, oh dude, it's gonna be the genie! And I'm like, how cool would that be if Robin Williams actually came on the show to play the genie? That would be
we spent all the season's 4 budget on just getting Robin Williams.
And then it's a blonde chick, and I'm like, oh, a hot blonde genie, that's even better. I can't even. And then she does a little Frozen thing, and she walks away, and there's ice on the ground, and I'm like, really? Really? Like, it's just so forced. It's so ridiculous. Like,
I love it.
You're just doing it because you're just trying to get that 14-year-old girl or 13-year-old girl audience back.
Okay, time out, real quick. I love that movie. Okay.
Okay, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a good song.
And I gotta say, do you want to build a snowman? Because I think we're gonna be building some snowmen next season.
Build snowman. I mean, hopefully she's gonna go all Ice Queen and it's gonna be trapped in winter again. And like, okay, that's cool. Like, because you know, winter's coming on Game of Thrones, so we gotta do it on Once Upon a Time.
Exactly.
I don't know. I just like I feel like you could dig a little deeper.
Waters.
Like, bring back the Fox and the Hound as villains. You know, like that. How cool would that be?
That'd be dirty,
right? Or like the hunter that killed Bambi's mom is the main villain of season 4. I'm just ripping out. Anyways, I am excited for season 4. It's probably going to be better than the second half of season 3, so we have that to look forward to.
Second half of season
has to
3.
be.
ABC, get your shit together.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Any other closing thoughts?
No, I pretty much solved. Fuck Pinocchio.
Yeah. I think we've hit that. Yeah.
So you hate Elsa. I don't like Pinocchio.
Right. So if they
don't know what Elsa's like yet.
So maybe Pinocchio and Elsa become like a power couple on the show. Pekelsico.
Yeah, the wood and ice.
Wood and ice.
The title of episode 1. Wood and ice.
Not fire and blood. Wood and ice. All right. Anyways, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.